Hi everyone, how have you all been? Great to see you again. It feels like this week went by so quickly. Like, really it does. I'm genuinely kind of surprised. Oh, it's always good to see you guys in the chat again. Let's see, who's in the chat? Arathorn99, great to see you, bud. We got Khan in there, Big Bash. Rohan is here, Goat is here, Jess. Deadwolf Productions, Fireboy, 10 Rex, The Movie King 3000. Ooh, let's see who else is here. Did I miss anyone? The G-Gamer. G-Gamer is here as well. Charleston. Oh, Charleston just watched the first Final Destination movie earlier today, and he quite liked it. That's good. When did you finish watching that? Watch my Versus video once you finish watching the first one. It's no spoilers. Was it spoilers? It was spoilers in terms of the deaths of the first one, but there's no spoilers, I think, for the sixth one. There's definitely no spoilers for that. Just stuff that you've seen in the trailers. Let's see. I've already said Big Bash. I've mentioned Jess, haven't I? Goat says, today I bought Witcher 3, Last of Us, and Lego City Undercover. Wow. That's a good collection right there. I actually own the first Last of Us. I was not a fan of, you guys know, I'm not a fan of the second one. That's the place it went, so. Jess says, Eric, how long have you had that beard? It seems that you never shaved it in years. Seriously? This is, I would say, actually clean cut and everything, what I've done. Like, you know, I've had a much bigger beard, and you guys have seen me with a much bigger beard, so this was actually, I thought, pretty modestly cut. Ethan's Drawing is here, says, hi Eric, good to see you again. It's good to see you too, buddy. Big Bash says, what are the perks if you join YouTube members, Eric? Well, all you gotta do is, if you're watching the video right now, right next to my channel name, there should be a join button. Click that join button, and it will have a window pop up. Although I do need to get rid of a couple of them, because I'm not going to be doing the Let's Watch one anymore, or the Behind the Scenes one anymore. I'm going to get rid of those two, so don't do that. But you can do the first two and the final one. So right now there's 3 perks available. So if you want them, you can go towards those, I'd say. So yeah. G-Gamer says, haven't seen the Final Destination movie. I wanted to as soon as I can. Also, I did share your Versus video throughout the Discord servers. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. The fact that you share the videos around. That really does help, so thank you very much for that. Jess says, Eric, I have an idea for your next Versus video. Make a video between the Suicide Squad versus Thunderbolts. Movie King says, personally, I came around to The Last of Us Part 2, especially after watching Season 2 of the show and how they were adapting it. For me, that was just kind of where I gave up. When I heard about that, I was like, this reminds me of The Last Jedi all over again. So I would prefer not to do that. Ooh, look at that. We've got someone who said on the chat, who was it? Oh, looks like we got a new Patreon member right now. Very early on. Wow, Big Bash has also become a member on, as you can see right there, Big Bash. How the hell, this is actually the first. I've got a Patreon member at the beginning of a live stream, and a new YouTube member at the beginning of a live stream. So you know what that means. It means both of your names go up right here. So let's see. Where is it? Gregory, I'm doing good, bud. Is that Gregory? Is that you, Gregory Bronstein? Because you seem to have changed your profile picture and your name. Where was the other one who became Patreon member? Manola, it has been a while since you've come, and I've missed you, bud. Like I remember all of your names when you come onto these live streams, and I always enjoy seeing you guys week after week. And when you're not here, I always do miss you guys. So. Thanks for coming back in. Like I said, you're all like my second family, so I miss seeing every single one of you. Let's see. Whoever became the Patreon member, tell me in the chat so I can put your name up. Okay, so Big Bash, yes, you will be remembered in Eric Carter history. Let me, as soon as I find where I put that text, that text bar. Ah, here we go. All right, so. Okay, I'm gonna put the name that I got on my Patreon right here, because that is the name that is going to show up in the end of the videos when I have all my patrons' names show up. So, Stefan Paisan, I think is how I say your name. And then, of course, we have the one, the only, Big Bash. Let's center this properly. There we go. Alright then, guys, here you go. Say hello to these two guys. One Patreon member, one YouTube member. Right at the beginning of the stream, mind you. Here they are. And their names will forever be saved in this live stream. And let's see. You know what? Give me a second. Let me go to the alert box. I don't think I have tied merch to this. I need to find a way where I can. So when I tie merch to this notification that happens on the screen, that way if anyone buys merch, it will also pop up on the screen and it will show the merch that they bought. So I'll try to get that done as well. And yeah, that will be a great that'll be a great way of actually showing what people have done. So yeah, Goat, you are the first person to have bought my merch. I've not really advertised it all that much, so yeah, no one else has bought it yet, but you have, and I really appreciate that, bud. And I hope you enjoy the shirts once you get it. I've got one of those. I think you ordered the one that I have, and I do like that shirt. That's my favorite of the two. And Big Bash says, where is it gone? He goes, finally, my comments can be read faster. They definitely can, because now you're highlighted. So on my end right here, your name is green, whereas everyone else's is grey. So YouTube members, I always say this, you will be seen first in the comment section. I'll be able to notice you more. You'll stand out. So that not only does becoming a member help support me, not only does it give you additional free content, but it'll make you it'll make you stand out more in these live streams. So yeah, that's definitely a benefit. G Gamer says, I do want to buy one soon. Yeah, no worries, buddy, whenever you're ready. Killick, is it his birthday? Hey Eric, glad I made it to the stream. My birthday just passed. Oh really, did it? So is it past midnight now? Happy well, if it is, happy belated birthday. Hope you had a great day. My birthday is coming up in June the 10th. That's when it's my birthday. Batman235 says, Eric, how do I become a YouTube member? And do you love the Superman trailer? Well, to see the Superman trailer, I've actually reacted to it, and it is on my Patreon and on my YouTube memberships. If you want to become a YouTube member, all you have to do is, you see my name where it says Eric Carter and how many subscribers I have. All you gotta do is click the join button, which should be right next to it. And once you click it, it will say which option do you want to be, what kind of member do you want to be, what perks do you want to get. And then you click the one you want, you sign up, and there you go. You've become a member. You're therefore supporting me on the channel, and you get additional content, and your name is highlighted in the chat. So if you want to be noticed more on these live streams, it is very, very helpful when you become a member, because your name is highlighted. So whenever I'm getting like just a barrage of comments, I can still see your name. Like, I could see Big Bash saying, happy birthday, and how was your weekend, Eric? It's like, it's not blending in as much anymore with the stream. It stands out. So, your name, your comments will be much more highlighted if you're members. So, Big Bash, my weekend has been pretty good. It's gone by very quickly. I've been very busy. I've been working on the Daredevil Born Again video. I have been. Batman235, the join button isn't there for some reason. It should be right next to my Eric Carter name. And my Eric Carter profile, where you see my logo. It should be right next to that. I know we got some really bad news regarding the Thunderbolts, says Joshman. I'm doing good, Joshman, and yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about with Thunderbolts. It's looking actually worse than many of us thought. Jess says, Eric, when your birthday comes up, then you're going to turn 30, and we will call you Old Man Eric, since you're starting to look like Logan. Oh, really? I thought Logan was about in his 30s or maybe 40s when they first found him in the first movie. Uh, let's see. Hey, Logman, I'm glad you joined the stream, bud. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Oh, really? How old are you going to be, Eric? Says Key Wayne Hill. I'm going to be 30, so my 20s are going to be behind me, which I'm not looking forward to, really. This is kind of interesting. When you get older, I just realized you don't really get any presents anymore. I'm not really complaining, because when you're older, you get your own stuff whenever you need it. But it just reminded me. I was like, yeah, I remember when presents used to be a thing, and that's a thing of the past. You get a cake and things, which is always nice. But I just remembered, I was like, oh, I haven't had a present in a while. Let's see. Joshman says, Eric, do you think Thunderbolts opened worse than Captain America Brave New World? Yes, I think it's already opened, I think, worse than Brave New World. I think it did make less than it, didn't it? G-Gamer says, oh no, June is coming up, because I remember that's when you said the deadline would be on YouTube. Well, I'll tell you, G-Gamer, there is some hope in that area, because I have been trying to reach out to some sponsorship companies, and they have actually, there's two that we're talking to right now that potentially could be interested. They're both projector-based companies, is all I will tell you right now, and they do seem to be interested in sponsoring the channel. So we'll see where it goes. They're vastly different projectors for vastly different people, so hopefully it will give you like a good variety with regards to projectors and your price point and everything. So here's hoping that through that something good can come up, and if, like I said, if that's the significant uptick that I need, then if it reaches that uptick, then that means I've got reason to stay on. Like, I can make a career out of this. But like I always said, anytime you become Patreon members, anytime you become YouTube members, or if you buy my merch, any of these ways to support me, it will help in giving me the uptick that I need, and then that will make me stay on the channel. So yeah, I think it's going well. So if we just keep the momentum coming, then I will stay on YouTube. I'll still continue. 10 Rex says, question, when will you retire from YouTube so I can worry about the future? I don't intend to retire. Even if I can't make videos at the volume that I am, I will... I'll still be making them, but you'll just be getting far less of them. So here's hoping that the channel can grow to the level that I need it to. The Movie King says, did you remove the Let's Watch feature on YouTube because of copyright? Two reasons. One, I got rid of it, yes, because copyright. But that's not really the main reason. The main reason is because my channel... There was a point where YouTube member videos, I think they were not visible, or if they were visible, they were hidden better. But I looked at my channel, I was like, it is an absolute mess. There is just too much membership content and not enough video content. And because it's so much easier to get the membership content out than it is the versus videos and things, my channel page was looking like a mess, and I thought it would be very overwhelming for someone new coming to the channel. So I thought, okay, we'll just keep it to simple. On my Patreon, you'll get most of those videos, those types. And then on my YouTube memberships, you'll get stuff that will be more appealing to look at on the channel. So if you want to get the Let's Watches, they are all going to be on Patreon, no longer on YouTube. Joshman says, Eric, will you still be doing your Snow White versus video? And are you going to be doing a versus video on the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch right when it comes out? That is the plan. Today I was actually recording my story segment for Snow White, the Snow White versus video. So the script is pretty much done. I think the conclusion is all I've got to add some stuff to. Let me take a quick look here. Let me look at the script for the Snow White video. So I've done the intro. I've done the story segment, which is the longest segment. I've got to do the Snow White segment. I've got to do the Evil Queen segment, meaning I've got to read them. The writing for them is done. I've pretty much done that. The Dwarves segment is done. We've got the song segment, which I think I have. I needed to add one detail to it, and I think I did earlier today, or was it yesterday, so I can cross that off and say that is done. And then we have the conclusion, and yes, I think the conclusion... Actually, it seems to be very much in place. I think the conclusion is done. I'll probably have to read over it just to make sure if there's anything else I want to add. But ultimately, yeah, the script is done for the Snow White one. I just gotta get the editing done. And then, yes, I do plan to do the Lilo and Stitch one. And I do plan to do a Thunderbolts versus video as well. So, I'm trying to do a lot more versus videos on the channel as of late, because I want to try to see what the YouTube algorithm, what happens when I just put versus videos back. You might have noticed with my recent versus video of Final Destination that I've gone back to my original thumbnails as well. So I'm trying to go back to what worked, and I'm going to try to do more versus videos than any other videos. So my quick movie reviews can still be on the channel. My Let's Binge Watch videos can be on the channel. My versus videos will be on the channel. But stuff like the car vlogs that I do, like the car reviews, I can't put that on my channel because I know those are going to get less views than my quick movie reviews. So if I do car reviews, right now I'm going to put them on my Patreon, and I'm going to probably keep them on my Patreon. So if you want access to the car reviews, then you got to go over to Patreon to gain access to that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, because I need to experiment with the algorithm. I need to really see if I can find a way to, like, have it work for me. And I think making videos like the car reviews, I think they're too casual, and I don't know if the algorithm likes those videos. So I'm going to try to get back to versus videos. That's what I'm going to try to do, and that's why you've been getting a lot more versus videos. Like my Sinners versus video, I know it got copyrighted, but that's not my fault. That's the company's fault, and I did speak to them over the phone a couple days ago. I was supposed to get a call from them on Friday, but they didn't call me back, and now we're in the weekend, so I can't call them on the weekends. I'm going to try to call them tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, I'm going to give them a call. So hopefully we'll be getting closer to that copyright claim getting done. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, how cool is that I got 2 versus videos out? I got I got 2 versus videos out. The first versus video I got out was Sinners, which is on my Patreon and YouTube memberships if you want to watch it early right now while I'm dealing with a copyright claim. And also, I've got the other thing I've got as well is the Final Destination versus video, which was done. That's 2 versus videos in a relatively short period of time. And on top of that, I've also got the Daredevil Born Again versus Daredevil versus video, which is actually getting closer to being done. I've got the Snow White video, which I'm already going to start I'm already starting to record, and then I'm going to start editing. I've got the Thunderbolts versus video, which I'm also doing. And then we got Lilo and Stitch, and also another versus video that I want to do leading up till June. I'm not going to say what that is, but it's another one. So I'm working very hard, lots of versus videos. If I'm not responding as much or not doing as much like certain types of content, you know now why. It's because I'm incredibly busy with these versus videos. So yeah. Saeed is here, says he can't wait for me to roast Daredevil. I'll have good things to say, but yes, I will have a lot of criticisms and constructive criticism to give, and comparisons with the original show. Arathorn says, thanks for the feedback, Captain Eric. I thought the same about pacing. Now, Arathorn, before I read further, he made a short film, and he asked me to watch it, which I did. I clicked on it and says, notify me when his short film goes up. So I watched it, and it was a very good short film. It was very psychological, which is what he was trying to go for, and I liked the black and white stuff. It was really good. And I gave my positive thoughts, and I also gave my criticisms on it as well, so this is what he's responding to. He says, thanks for the feedback, Captain Eric. I thought the same about the pacing. We were forced to cut a scene because of unusable footage, and I wanted to make it 20 minutes long to get the story right. Well, the question that you need to ask is, how long does the short film need to be to accommodate the story? You don't try to make the story accommodate the runtime, which is kind of how I feel like it was. I think if you gave it an extra 5, maybe 10 minutes, maybe less than that, it depends on what you shot and how well you wrote it. If you gave it that extra time, it probably would have benefited it, I think. But yes, I do understand the problem when, footage does not work out like it's supposed to. I get that. If you look at my 3-minute review episodes, I tried to do a lot of filmmaking with those game reviews I did. And I was doing filmmaking tactics, I was doing short film special effects and things, and like movie making, like camera angles and things. And I know what it's like when footage cannot work out the way it needs to. But yeah, ultimately, you did a very good job. I'm very impressed. And if you do any other short films, be sure to send them over and I'll take a look at them and give you a review like I did with the other one. Alright, Joshman says, Eric, we also got Mission Impossible to the Final Reckoning, and that is supposed to be projecting to open much bigger numbers. I really hope it makes more money than Lilo and Stitch. I don't think it will make more money than Lilo and Stitch. I think Lilo and Stitch is one of those Disney movies that is going to probably make them money, the first movie to make them money this year, because they've not been making money this year, I'll tell you that. The G Gamer says, your best and worst movies of 2024 now got 10,000. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Oh, thanks for that, G Gamer. Yeah, if you look at my other top 10 best movies of the year videos, they've actually gone like 20,000 or even some more views, which is impressive. So, yeah. Batman 235, what do you mean, why is that? Why does David Corenswet have more personality than Cavill? It's hard to say, we need to watch the movie right now, but Zack Snyder made Henry Cavill's Superman much more brought down in terms of personality and everything. So there's more to it than what you're simplifying it as. We got to see more. And Henry Cavill, I'm sure he could have done a great Superman, but he wasn't really given the opportunity to. So there is more to it. Ooh, Ten Rex asked a very good question. He says, what's the hardest part about making videos that no one notices? Well, the hardest part is just how long it takes. It can get quite exhausting when you're editing and you've got all of these voiceovers to cut, then you've got all the film footage to put in, and then you've got to make sure that while you're doing every bit of film footage editing, you're making sure that you're not going to set off the copyright system every second of the way. That takes a lot of work. Sometimes the effects that I do, where you guys like the edits I do, sometimes they're very simple, where I can do them just like that. Other times, it seems so simple in your head, but then when you do it, there are unforeseen problems that kind of come in, and then it's harder to get those done. So sometimes it can be that. For me, it just really is the time. It takes a long time to do them, and by the end of it, you're kind of like, okay, I'm just done with this video, and I think I'm ready for it to go out there. So, you know, I have to watch these videos like hundreds of times as I'm editing them, so yeah, it takes a long time to do, but I'm glad you guys enjoy them in the end. You guys enjoying them really makes it all worthwhile. Batman235 says, base your opinion off Pruitt Taylor, Vince changed after that trailer. I don't know what that means. Goat says, on IMDb, it says Lanterns will come out in 2026. I hope so. It's, that Lanterns show looks amazing. Crazy Cat Lady says, I can't order merch until next month. At least I'm trying to do but I need work. My Milo goes so I can get rid of the colors that I do when my book reviews too. Okay, you need to probably rewrite that for me, Crazy Cat Lady, but don't worry, whenever you're ready, you can get the merch then. I'm not forcing you to get the merch, I'm just hoping that I can give you guys value in return for your support. But if you don't want to, that's entirely your choice. But yeah. Saeed says, hey Eric, I've been rewatching Peacemaker. On the final 2 episodes, you said some of the jokes are not funny and don't land, but I can't lie, it's so entertaining. Yeah, but I didn't like the joke where, I'm not going to say what happens, but Peacemaker does something which was very tough for him, and then he starts crying, and then Vigilante's like, dude, what are you doing with your face? Are you doing more face exercises? Then the other one, he's sad, you jerk, or something like that. That was a bad one. I was ready to cry in that scene. It was doing such a good job, but then they did that stupid joke, and I stopped. It just pulled me out of the moment. I did not feel sad anymore. Big Bash says, Eric, I watched your Let's Binge Watch of the Clone Wars Season 7 at the gym today. Oh, really? I'm glad you enjoyed it. The G-Game... Well, actually, I was going to say I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you were able to watch it while you were at the gym. I remember you said you used to watch, I think it was my live streams while you were at the gym, which was interesting. So, cool. G-Gamer says, when do you plan to release your Snow White versus video? Because I know it's eventually going to fade because of newer movies coming out. I'm still editing it, G-Gamer. That's the thing. Final Destination was such a last-minute versus video that I planned to do. So if I didn't do the Final Destination versus video, I would have been working on the Snow White one right now. But I had a week advance to watch Final Destination, so I wanted to get a versus video out quickly. Jess says, whistle while you work. More like whistle while the movie bombs hard. Yeah. Khan says, was there a Batman comic that you absolutely despised and never want to talk about ever again? I don't know, I've not read enough Batman comics to read a bad one. And usually the bad ones, I just don't read them. I get notice ahead of time, so I just ignore them. So for me, I've never read a bad Batman comic. I've read I've read some that might maybe a bit slow. I remember Batman Dark Victory. I enjoyed it, but I found it to be quite slow at points where I just stopped reading it for a while. So yeah. Big Bash says, do you recommend I watch Clone Wars? Heck yeah. The first 2 seasons are the ones that people consider the weakest, but I think there's still a lot of good ideas and a lot of good stuff in there. But season 3 onwards is where it becomes amazing. But I would highly recommend you watch those first 2 seasons first, because there are a lot of details in there that will really make you appreciate season 3 a lot more once you get to it, and the rest of the seasons. Ethan's Drawing says, hey Eric, I was thinking about boycotting a Switch 2 and get a Steam Deck instead. How do you feel about that? Yeah, sure. But it really depends on what games you want. I'm going to start putting up game videos on my Patreon very soon. I want to, including Steam Deck videos. So if you want to be, you know, clued into my gaming videos, head on over to Patreon and you'll be able to gain access to my game show there. Time Shadow says, I can probably only stay for another 10 to 20 minutes. That's no problem, buddy. Hope you enjoy what you get here for the next 10-20 minutes. So with that said, who wants to go to the first story? Hang on, I've positioned some of these in the wrong place. There we go. Now we're back on order. Alright, Daredevil Born Again. We're going to be talking about Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. Now, Season 1 was not all that great. It really wasn't. In fact, my reaction for Season 1 will end up going on my Patreon soon, so stay tuned for that, and then you'll be able to see it. But yeah, I was not at all impressed with Daredevil Born Again Season 1. I had a lot of issues with it. And you could just tell it was a Frankenstein monster of a project, where the PG-13 version of it and the R-rated version just weren't very compatible with each other. So I'm not... the only thing I'm hoping with Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is that going in from the very beginning, they know this season is supposed to be the R-rated version, and I hope they make it amazing. I hope there's no Frankenstein, like, dual differences going on with the project. I really hope that's not the case. So... basically, what's going to happen in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is that they want to introduce Jessica Jones into this season, and I gotta say, this was not really thrilling to me. You can see Charlie Cox is very happy. I have nothing against her, but the thing is, now that Karen is back, I was hoping the other characters could come back from Daredevil's show, but them bringing in other superheroes, it feels like they don't know what to do with Daredevil, so they're just trying to go for big scope, big scale. But thing is, you just need good writing, you don't need to do that. Karen is back, I hope Foggy comes back, that's what a lot of people are speculating, that he's in witness protection. And I hope when he comes back that it focuses more on them. But doing this, I don't like it. It feels like they're just trying to get people to come in by saying, look at the cameos we got in here. And that's another thing, it's like, if you're going to bring her in, you need to bring her in for as much as you can. Not just for, like, a quick little cameo, which is what they did with the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. You need to have her be, like, really be a part of the story. But I don't think these writers are smart enough for that. And also I worry that if they do bring her in, are they going to make it more her show than Daredevil's? I just think they should really just leave the show, let it be about Matt Murdock, and just work with that. I don't want them to start getting, like, you know, sidetracked with these other characters, because they can't even maintain the basic story that they have with the first season of Daredevil. So now when they're trying to bring in more characters, I have a feeling they're not going to do well with her either. And then if they focus too much on her, will they focus enough on Matt Murdock? It's just a mess to me. It really is. I don't trust them. So that's another thing. We don't know how much she is in here, so we'll have to wait and see. And Marvel bringing in other characters after we didn't get much Daredevil in Season 1 is not something that I am for. And normally when Marvel bring these characters in, they're not bringing them in for story reasons, they're usually bringing them in for marketing reasons. So they can say, look at the character that we brought in. We brought in Jessica Jones. You'll watch our show now, right? It just feels like cheap whenever they do this stuff. It doesn't feel organic or natural. So I don't like that. And the only good thing or interesting thing I could say, vaguely interesting, is that Jessica will meet the Kingpin. So there's that. But I really don't care if she does meet the Kingpin, really. I mean, Jessica Jones is a cool character, but at the same time, she's not a great character. For me, Daredevil was a great character. And for everyone, Daredevil was the best of those Netflix Marvel characters, because everyone talks about Daredevil all these years. hardly anyone was talking about Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or Iron Fist, but they were all talking about Daredevil, Charlie Cox. So yeah, that's what I think. Deadwolf Daredevil is more famous than Jessica Jones. Or are you saying that too, Deadwolf? Filmmaker Steven, you can ask me that question later. We're talking about Daredevil right now, but I will answer that question later. Just ask me it again when we get to the relevant point. So, yeah, I think this feels very, very forced. I think it's a way of Marvel getting scared, because the viewership numbers for Daredevil Born Again were terrible. It never, ever trended on Nielsen, even when the show was over, and people usually binge watch a show. So the fact that it didn't trend says a lot about this show, how bad the viewership was. So I think a lot of people have just tuned out of this show, and I think they weren't interested. Mainly is probably because of all the problems behind the scenes that it had. Maybe it's because people don't trust Disney Marvel anymore. But this is seriously becoming an issue for them. No says, I like the show. That's good if you like the show, but here's the thing. I love the original Daredevil show, all 3 seasons. And if I was not a fan of this, there's a lot of other people that were not a fan, and we felt like they were just wasting time, that this was meant to be a PG-13 project, which they then decided to make rated R when they were having a bunch of flops, Marvel did. And you can just tell that it's just a clash of 2 different projects, and they don't gel together. So I'd say that's a big issue. Khan says, hey Eric, what are your overall thoughts about Jessica Jones at the series as a whole? Because I haven't watched this series in a good while, so I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Well, I liked Season 1, but my problem with Season 1 is that I felt like 13 episodes was too much. I thought they could have cut 6 episodes out of the show. So I thought there was way too many. I thought this could have been a good 6-episode TV show, but 13 episodes was way too much, I thought. So I hope that they make it... and then Season 2, I didn't even bother watching Season 2 because I heard it was bad. The only reason I really watched the first season was because of the hype of these Marvel shows at the time and how dark they were. But also, I really enjoyed what they did with Kilgrave. David Tennant playing like essentially an evil Charles Xavier. That was the selling point of that show to me, but what they did with him right at the end I thought was cheap. So yeah, Kilgrave is a great villain, Saeed, he really was. Saeed is also right when he says Marvel is all about member berries. Filmmaker Stefan says, some people are saying that Spider-Man is a fraud because despite what's happening in New York in Daredevil Born Again, he's just absent and not stopping the chaos that's happening in the story. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, what's going on in this universe? Like, what happened in Daredevil Born Again is a big deal. It should impact all the heroes in New York. Yeah, you're not hearing anything from Spider-Man. Is Doctor Strange in New York as well, I think? Because if he's not in there, it's like, why is he not there? Goat says blame Sony, but I don't. I blame Marvel, because it's like, if they look how much money they waste on stuff like The Marvels, where they spend $275 million on that, plus marketing. Instead of spending pointless money on shitty projects like that, why don't you spend that kind of money on giving people what they want, like getting Spider-Man into this show? That's what they should be doing, but they're just not doing it. And I've heard recently that Tom Holland is the only one that is not entering the MCU in certain ways right now because he wants more money or something. They want him in Doomsday. So I think he wants more money from them or something. So that apparently Sony and Marvel have struck a deal is what I've heard. Hui says, I've been hearing that Secret Wars will serve as a reboot to the MCU. What are your thoughts? I think it will. The Russos said that Infinity War and Endgame was them coming in to end this series, but they said Doomsday and Secret Wars is their way coming in of starting the new series as a new beginning. So that does track, if that's what you've read. That does seem like they're going to try to reboot, essentially. The G-Gamer says, for $200 to $300 million movies and TV show budgets, they're cheaping out with their actors. Yep. Not only are they cheaping out with their actors, they're cheaping out with their characters as well. So yeah, Marvel are really screwing up. They're not doing good here by their characters. So does anyone have any questions about this? And I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you want to ask me any questions, of course there is always Super Chats and Streamlabs chats, and whenever you do that, your name will pop up on the screen here, and there'll be some nifty animations. The more you donate, the bigger the animations will be. So, anyone have any questions? Khan says, again, I really don't care about this announcement, mostly because it's mostly nothing new, and just really getting another cameo of an actor. Yep, exactly. It's all for marketing. Whenever Marvel the MCU include these characters in these shows or movies, it never feels like they're doing it because the character needs to be in there, because the story demands it. It feels more like their marketing campaign demands it, so that's why they're doing it. Like when they were trying to set up Daredevil with Kamala, with Miss Marvel. It's like, no one asked for that, but why are they forcing that crossover? It was ridiculous. Big Bash says, Godzilla -1 looks better with $15 million than a $200 million Marvel movie. Exactly. Saeed says, if Fantastic Four is shit, then I'm not interested in Doomsday and Secret Wars. See me on the other side for Lantern, Supergirl, and Spider-Noir. Yeah, Spider-Noir looked pretty cool. Supergirl, we'll have to wait and see. I'm more curious to see what Jason Momoa looks like as Lobo, because that's great casting. Lanterns, heck yes, I love the look of that, and I'm a huge Jon Stewart fan. So yeah, sign me up for that. I'd love to see that. Yeah, I've heard Punisher will be in Season 2 as well, Fireboy, and he kind of has to, based on the ending, the way the season ended. Jess says, I find that Jessica Jones show to be boring because it looks nothing special. That's why I said they needed to bring down the number of episodes that they did. It was just way too many. Starlight was in that, by the way. The Boys, Starlight. She was in that show and she was younger. So I never knew that was Starlight when I was watching it, of course, because The Boys wasn't out. But it's interesting to know that now, in retrospect. Joshua says, I do have one, Eric. Do you think Daredevil Born Again is yet another Marvel failure? And the fact that they really did disappoint on another R-rated project after Echo. It is another failure. The viewership numbers are not there to back it up. It's also got a lot of bad reviews from people. It's like a lot of people also just thought it was mediocre in general, and it certainly didn't hold a candle to the Netflix shows. Goat says, hot take, Born Again is overhated. The reason it might seem overhated, bud, is because the original Netflix shows were amazing. They've aged like a fine wine. I think they've gotten better than they did back then. So people were like, okay, that is something really fresh. That is something really new. That is something which can really be good for the MCU. And Marvel wanted to turn it into a PG-13 Law and Order type show with 18 episodes that went on weekly. They butchered that show from the beginning, and then eventually they decided to make it the R-rated show that people wanted. But at that point, it was too late. They shot 9 episodes, and they took a bunch of that shit that they recorded the first time that they thought was not good enough, and then they just recorded a few reshoots that they sprinkled in, put in some CGI blood. That was it. They were done. Lazy ass, like tape up kind of job. It was like they just taped it together, and it shows. It's a project, like I said, that has it's a Frankenstein monster of a project. And that they did not treat it well, and that's why people are disappointed. So it should have been amazing. Instead, it was mediocre. Khan says, and compared to what we had originally with Season 3 of Daredevil, which was by far the best of the series, and then you get Season 4, which feels like a downgrade. Exactly. That's another big thing. They went from Dark Knight levels of TV show writing to just typical Marvel crap that you just throw away once you finish watching it and you never watch it again. That was an insult. A freaking insult. And I hold Kevin Feige to account in my Versus video. Usually I'll mention him as a throwaway. This time I show him in this Versus video. For that very reason. Movie King says, I'm still interested to see your reaction to episodes 8 and 9. Yeah, I'm hoping to get that ready at some point soon, by the way, but I'm sorry it's taking so long. Like I said, so many Versus videos that I'm working on. Jess says, I love that three-way fight, that hallway fight in Daredevil Season 3. Yeah, or that three-way fight you meant at the end. Yeah, that was also amazing. Truly was. There are great examples of this stuff. that they've done on the Netflix side, which sadly they just did not do over on they sadly did not do on the Marvel side. It just goes to show how bad they are. Big Bash says Marvel is too kiddie. DC is where all the real adult content is. Yeah, exactly. That's how it certainly seems, at least, if you watch what Marvel are doing. So yeah, that's the first story. The second story is The Odyssey. This is Christopher Nolan's next movie, which is coming out in July 17th of 2026. Now, this is Nolan's next movie. I've already talked about this in previous streams, and people are, of course, excited because it's a big-budget Christopher Nolan movie. And here's Christopher Nolan right here, and you can see right next to him is that trusty IMAX camera. Now, the reason I'm showing this is because there was a new report that came out recently that The Odyssey is going to be the first of Christopher Nolan's movies to be 100% shot on IMAX. Now, what does that mean? Well, normally when Christopher Nolan always films his movies, he films most of the movies in the usual widescreen, but then he will come in with the IMAX cameras and shoot certain set pieces in IMAX format. Now, he does that so that way the big set pieces are the ones that get the big IMAX treatment, and then usually you see when that happens. It's when it goes from widescreen on your TV to then when the image just gets bigger. So yeah, it goes from widescreen to like just bigger, the image. That is ultimately what he does in his movies, and what other IMAX movies since then have also done. But he's going to shoot the entire movie with IMAX cameras now, so that is something that he is doing. And that'll be really cool. I think that'll be really cool to see how he does that. So yeah, that sounds really neat. That sounds really fun. That he's going to make the entire thing shot with IMAX cameras. Good on him. That is such a cool idea. So and also it's shot on film, and they had to design brand new IMAX camera technology in order for Christopher Nolan to do that. So they had to make it 30% lighter. They also had to make sure that it would allow him to see dailies, which is, you know, what they see when they take a look at the footage they shot for the day. Usually with IMAX cameras, it's not that simple, but this time he said that he needs it to be that simple. And now he can take a look at them as dailies. And also, I think they made it a bit quieter as well. So basically, they made these cameras specifically for Christopher Nolan and this movie. They had to make brand new cameras for that. And in Oppenheimer, they had to make brand new cameras that were black and white, because he wanted to shoot those black and white segments in Oppenheimer, but he didn't want to do post-production black and white. He wanted to do black and white to the point where the cameras were shooting in black and white, so there was no color correction done later where you took all the saturation out. He wanted it to be shot in black and white. So Nolan is very cool whenever you see... Nolan is very cool in how he takes these IMAX cameras and really advances their technology. So I'm very glad to see that. And aside from Christopher Nolan, I think the only other person that did IMAX film is Ryan Coogler with Sinners. So that was really cool. Big Bash says, Christopher Nolan always makes his movies look incredible. This is amazing, especially with a historical story. Exactly. A big historic epic. It will be really cool to see how he does that. So yeah, anyone got any thoughts regarding this? Aside from, obviously, Christopher Nolan, really doing a great job with every single one of his movies to make them look great. Like, he really puts in a lot of hard work and effort. And after this, we'll be talking about the Thunderbolts box office. Khan says, I'll just say that it does look pretty darn interesting right now. If it ends up sticking the landing, then it might be one of, if not his best movies. Then it might be one of them, not one of his best films. Nolan is the best director, says Deadwolf. Saeed says, I'm grateful for Ryan Coogler with Sinners and also this movie. Big Bash says, can't wait to see how he makes Tom Holland act different in this movie. That is a very good point. I'm looking forward to that as well. Tom Holland has been just playing the same character so much. G-Gamer says, I have nothing much to say though. I really hope it's good. Jess says this is pretty much 300 2.0. You can definitely tell he's taken inspiration from those types of movies, but I think he's going to make it his own, I think. Charlton says, which is your favourite and least favourite Christopher Nolan movie, excluding The Dark Knight? Okay, so you know The Dark Knight is my favourite Nolan movie. My other favourite Nolan movie, it would be Batman Begins. I was going to say Memento, but recently I've been listening to the music for Batman Begins, and I've felt so nostalgic lately towards Batman Begins, and it's going to be the movie's 20th anniversary soon. So, Batman Begins, yeah, dude, Batman Begins. After that, if you're wondering, I'd probably say Memento. I love Memento. Big Bash, yeah, Zack Snyder did direct 300, but I think Jess is saying that it looks very similar to that. Ooh, Garrett asked a very good question. He goes, what do you think the age rating will be? I think he's going to make it PG-13. It'd be cool if it could be rated R, but I think he's going to do PG-13. Saeed says, if Christopher Nolan does a DC project other than Superman, then Marvel is cooked. I don't think... If I was Christopher Nolan and I worked on Batman, I wouldn't want to work on any other Marvel character or any other superhero. Because once you work on Batman, that is the best you can get. After that, the only other one I can think of is Superman. But aside from that, if you don't want to do Superman, what other hero is there to do after you've done Batman? I think that's the top of the pile right there. Big Bash says, can Tom Holland act in an R-rated movie? Yeah, he can. He did a movie that was on Netflix, I think, called The Devil All the Time or something. That was a hard R, that was. That was an insanely crazy movie. He did a very good job in that. I think that was his best performance. Christopher Nolan could do Green Arrow. No thanks. Do you think Tom Holland is a bad actor, says Goat? No, I don't think he's a bad actor, but I just think they've just typecast him in a lot of similar roles, and he's not really branching out, so I want him to branch out more. He did with that movie I just mentioned, but aside from that, he hasn't been. Joshman says, Eric, I do have a question. Do you think that Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is going to be rated R or PG-13? I think it will probably be PG-13, I said, but it would be cool if you could make it rated R. Christopher Nolan should do Hulk, says Dead Wolf. That's a very random one. What makes you think Christopher Nolan should do the Hulk? That's interesting. Okay. We're going to get to the next story now. Okay, now, Thunderbolts. Now, Thunderbolts actually got... This is its third weekend at the box office. And on this first weekend, it didn't do particularly good. But however, on the second weekend, it had a smaller drop than Marvel's other recent films that have had massive second weekend drops. It had a smaller drop, so that was definitely good. However, it still didn't make good enough on its second weekend that a movie of this caliber for Marvel should be making. And now we come to the third week. Now, on the third weekend, Final Destination knocked it off of first place at the box office. So now it's in second place. And you can see right here, this is its overall box office now that it's been in the third weekend. In the third weekend, it only made $16.5 million at the domestic box office. So this is not good. This is really not good. Look at it. $150 million on the domestic box office. Just $150 million at the domestic box office. Just over $150 million. Basically, if they can't even reach $200 million at the domestic box office, that is an embarrassment. But if they do reach $200 million at the domestic box office, it is still an embarrassment. But look at that. $150 million, and the international box office numbers should be bigger. But they're not. Just $170 million. Oh, excuse me. I don't know what's going on at night usually, but yeah. Alexandria said something which is right. She goes, it's tracking to finish at $380 million at the box office. That's the same as Black Widow. Yeah, this is not looking good for it. In fact, let's show you right here. There we go. The budget for this movie is said to be $180 million, but much like Captain America Brave New World, I'm sure they've actually reduced this figure right here. So I bet you the figure is really higher than what they're showing. So the budget is not really 180, but let's just say it is for the sake of argument. The break-even point for this movie to break even, not even to make any money back, but to break even, is $450 million. And look at its worldwide total, $325 million. So in order for this movie to break even, it needs to make another $125 million at the box office. Do you think it's going to make $125 million at the box office? Especially now that we have Lilo and Stitch coming out next week, and Mission Impossible. And Sinners is still doing well at the box office as well. And Final Destination is still at the box office too. It's this first week. Do you think this movie is can make $125 million now? I don't think it will. Like what Alexandria says, the movie is tracking to make $380 million. That's not even $400 million at the box office. And to put it into perspective for you, here is Captain America Brave New World. And it made in total just over $415 million. But again, according to their numbers here, they said it needed to make it had a $180 million budget. So they say, we don't trust that. It really cost a heck of a lot more. But they say it cost $180 million. And that they need to reach also $450 million at the box office to break even. And even with these fake budget numbers that they gave it, it still could not reach those adjusted numbers that Marvel gave just to make it easier for themselves. It still couldn't reach that. So they lost money before, they lost money again with Thunderbolts, they lost money with Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, they lost money with the Marvels, they've lost money now clearly with Daredevil Born Again, they've lost money with I think I mentioned Captain America Brave New World. They're just losing money left, right, and center with these projects. That's not good for Marvel. If a supposed budget of $180 million can't work out for them, then how do they think other movies will? This movie has actually made me now concerned for Fantastic Four. Because if you think about it, this movie actually got a lot of great reviews. It got very good word of mouth. I thought it had some problems, but it got very good word of mouth. However, even with that good word of mouth, people have just not turned up. If you look at those box office numbers, no one's turning up. So that tells you, even if Marvel make a good movie, because the others were bad, but even if they make a good movie, it's still not making them money. Do you know how serious that is? That will put Marvel... Everyone at Marvel must be terrified right now. So those of them that were feeling confident that Fantastic Four would make money at the box office, even they would be shitting their pants right now. This is really, really bad. Richie, I've still not seen Invincible Season 3. I've seen Season 1, and I've done a reaction of every episode of Season 2 on my Patreon. But I've not seen Season 3 yet. I'm going to do a reaction with that on my Patreon too. Syed says, how much would they roughly make? They're not making anything out of these. They're losing money on these projects right here. So they're not making anything. They're making in the minus. Tack that on with the previous movies like Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania and the Marvels and Captain America Brave New World and stuff. They're just losing money on these Marvel projects. Because no one wanted it. No one cares about Thunderbolts. Now, this is something I want to talk about. There are people out there saying, oh, is it to do with superhero fatigue? I don't think it's to do with superhero fatigue. I don't think we're at the level of superhero fatigue. I think we're ultimately just getting too much comic book movies, and they're not very good. They don't have characters we want to see, and people are just getting tired of all these pointless movies that feel like they're just irrelevant. Also, I also think it's to do with the characters. So who cares about the Thunderbolts? No one cares. Even if you call them the New Avengers, which they've done, people still don't care. I also think it's to do with the terrible MCU shows and movies. They've got a bad track record right now. I mean, if you think back to the Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone thought that was going to flop. But Marvel had a very good track record at the time to where people were like, you know what? Usually I would think this is a piece of crap. However, because it's you and you've got a lot of goodwill with us, we're willing to give you a chance. And people did, and they loved it. That goodwill was basically proven right. But now there is no goodwill with Marvel, and that goodwill is gone. So people are not willing to give them a chance on the Thunderbolts, even if they do hear good reviews. So we'll have to see what happens with the Fantastic Four. But if you look at the trailer numbers for the Fantastic Four and compare them to Superman, Superman is getting more views with its trailers than the Fantastic Four trailers are. And the Fantastic Four trailers, they were uploaded like a month or 2 months ago. The new Superman trailer was uploaded 2 days ago, and already it's got way over 20 million views, and I think 25-30 million views or something. And the Fantastic Four trailer, which came out about a month ago, has just got 20 million. That was 1 month. With Superman, it's about 2 days. Do you see what's going on here? So I think that Fantastic Four is actually going to do worse. I've said this before, and I still think it. It's going to do worse than both Jurassic World and Superman this July. However, I do think that it's actually going to do worse than I thought. I thought it'll probably make about $500-600 million, maybe $7. I bet you now it's going to make about $400 million at the box office, because if you look at Thunderbolts here, it's not even going to make $400 million at the box office. It's not even going to make $200 million domestically. So I think it is in big trouble of being a flop. I think the Fantastic Four will probably not make Marvel any money. Oh, give me a second. I don't know where this little fever is coming from. Anyway, let's see. Khan says, honestly, could just be down to people not really trusting Marvel when it comes to movies anymore, or really any project. Yes, it could be. Alexandria says, facts. Thank you, Alexandria. I don't know if you're talking to someone else in the chat or to me, but that's... Thank you if you were talking to me. Big Bash says, they really need to wait a few years to make movies after Endgame. Too much is being released, and it's not about anything the people actually want. Yes, I've always said they should have waited 5 years before making another movie. What they should have done in that 5 years was, as well as taking a break, was planning out their next phase, but they didn't plan it out, and look at what's gone on. Saeed says, trust me, if Superman does well, I'm not seeing Fantastic Four. I'm dead serious. Wow. Ooh. Fireboy says, imagine if Fantastic Four bombs in the box office. This means that Superman will kick Fantastic Four's ass. Yeah, it will. But the question is that what will Superman do? And a lot of people think, myself included, that it all depends on how good the reviews are. If the reviews are good and people like it, I think it could make $700 million. If the reviews are bad and people don't like it, I think it'll make about $500 million. So $500 to $700 million is probably what it will do. But yeah, here's hoping it's good. It does look good by the trailer. If you watch my recent trailer reaction on my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, you'll see exactly what I thought. I guess people aren't trusting Marvel anymore. Yeah, they don't seem to be. G-Gamer says, do you think it's superhero fatigue because people liked this movie and still they didn't show up? This is more because of the MCU's previous record than the movie's faults. It is more down to their previous track records, plus people don't care about these characters. So it's got nothing to do with superhero fatigue. It's that, who gives a shit about the Thunderbolts? No one. So that's what it really is about. It's that fact that no one cares. And there are people out there that are trying to say, see, it's superhero fatigue. No. Give them a movie with characters that they want to see, and it will do well. Look at Deadpool and Wolverine, for example. But they're just not giving us superheroes with characters that we want. They're just giving us all this... Like, look at the new Ironheart trailer. Who cares? No one cares. And guess what? You're going to get Mephisto in that show. And apparently he's going to be goofy and comedic. That's another thing people just can't stand with these Marvel projects, is how goofy they are. And this movie, it was also quite goofy. So they have to reach $450 million to break even, says Saeed. Yes. But knowing Marvel and how they go over budget, they probably need to make even more than that to break even. Saeed says Ironheart got bombed. Yeah, but what did they expect? No one cared about that. They're force-feeding us stuff that we've never asked for. And the stuff we do ask for, they don't give it to us. Like, in the show, people, like I said, everyone wants to see Daredevil teaming up with other characters, but instead, they try to set him up with, Kamala. oh, camera, there I am. It tried to set him up with, Captain Marvel, and no one wants to see that, so Marvel really need to get their shit together and give people what they want. That's what they're not doing, is they're not giving people what they want, and that's why people are getting fed up with them. And it shows at the box office, so yeah, I'd say this serves them right, that they're losing money at the box office. No says, what are your thoughts on Thunderbolts? I thought it was good. I'm not going to give you my thoughts because I'm working on a Versus video, then you'll know my thoughts. But I have a lot to say about the movie. But I will say, it is better than their previous ones. I will say that. I love the subject matter. Actually, no. Didn't I review the Thunderbolts on a live stream? So I did talk about it. If you want to know my thoughts, go watch that live stream. It's archived on my channel now, but my review is there. So if you want to know my thoughts on it, that's where you should go. My thoughts were much more fresh and laid out as well, so yeah, definitely check it out there. Who cares about Ironheart? Nobody, said Fireboy. Exactly, no one cares about Ironheart. They should have began Phase 4 in 2024 and began with the X-Men. Yes, they should have, but they didn't. Sadly, but they've got no one to blame but themselves with regards to that. Joshman says, I am not watching Ironheart. It's going to suck, believe me. And I think it's going to be a flop on Disney+. It will be. Because no one asked for it, no one wants to watch it, and Marvel are literally, in just 2 weeks, dropping all the episodes. 3 episodes each, I think. Rohan says, here's the deal. I'm not seeing the Ironheart drill. I'm not seeing the Ironheart show, and I never will. Including the show when it releases on streaming. Yeah. No one wants to watch it. I'm not even going to cover it. There's nothing to cover with that show. The G-Gamer says, on Twitter with the Ironheart trailer, some tweets had to turn off their comment sections on Twitter. That shows the backlash. Ah, okay. To be honest, I'm just waiting for Avengers Doomsday, says Funny. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think many of us are. Space Wolf says, what's your live stream video? Space Wolf, if you're a new person to the live streams, welcome. I hope you have a fun time here. I don't know which live stream video you're talking about. Are you talking about my Thunderbolts review? Because it's that will be, I think, was it last week I did that? Or was it a week before that? It was a couple of weeks before that. Just go to the live stream section and you should find it. The Thunderbolts review, it's on the thumbnail. If you go to my YouTube channel and see the live stream section. Then that's the end of Marvel. Oh, Fireboy says, imagine if Doomsday will bomb hard. Then Khan says, then that's the end of Marvel. Yeah, indeed, for sure. That will definitely be the end of Marvel then. MCU Glazers are coping real hard right now. Then Marvel is officially dead, but highly doubt that, to be honest, because of member berries. Exactly. Nostalgia can really, you know, hook, line, and sinker people. So I think, yeah, I think the nostalgia will... Sadly, nostalgia will save the day for the studio. Because I think just out of curiosity alone, everyone will want to go see the movie for that very reason. So, yeah, I think that will give them the push that they need to get people to go see it. But whether or not they'll like it, I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. The Russos, like I said, I've lost faith in them after watching The Electric State. So, yeah. Alright then, so I think that's pretty much it with that story. Doesn't seem like anyone's paying attention, or really has anything else to say about it, so... Yeah, let's move on to the Q&A then. So what questions do you guys have? It could be about the stories we talked about, or it could be about anything. Your questions, time to answer them now. And of course, if you want to ask a question and have it pop up on the screen, or if you want to help support the channel or get your question read out first, all you got to do is do a super chat or a Streamlabs chat. And Streamlabs chats, you can do that through the link in the description or the link in the pinned comment section. And your question and name will pop up on the screen with a nifty animation. 10 Rex, my favorite color is blue, although all my technology I have is black. So, yeah, it's a bit of a paradox right there. Episode 8 and 9 of Daredevil, Born Again, will not disappoint you. Both the episodes are brutal. I've seen them, Rohan. My reaction is recorded. I just got to edit them. There is stuff to be disappointed about, I'll just say that. Mainly, it just feels like the stuff that's going on in these two episodes, this could have happened way earlier, but it felt like the writing was deliberately padding itself out. So it's like, why is this story happening now with episodes 8 and 9? Why didn't it happen earlier? That's a big issue for me. It's like, why are we getting this development now? It should have happened earlier in the show, too. Deadwolf says, I'm looking forward to the DCU shows over the MCU shows. Yes, me too, because they seem to have more of a grasp of quality over quantity, whereas Marvel just have quantity over quality. They don't really care, it seems like. Jacinda, it's funny you're asking this question because I was just thinking about watching Sherlock recently. I listened to the music as well. He goes, Eric, do you believe Sherlock... Oh, where's that question gone? It just disappeared. Do I think... There it is. Do I think Sherlock is a sociopath? He was, I think, but as it went, he loosened up and he did start to care about other people and their feelings. So I don't think Sherlock is a sociopath anymore. He used to be, as he said, a high-functioning sociopath, but now I think he's definitely improved from that. Funny says, I haven't seen you in a while, Funny, buddy. Says, Eric, were you expecting for your channel's success? Yeah, you always kind of hope for the best. You put the work in. That's the hope that kind of keeps you going, is that you hope you can keep growing your audience. And hopefully it can happen. I haven't given up yet. Big Bash says, Eric, what are your thoughts on Courage the Cowardly Dog? I love Courage the Cowardly Dog. I loved that show as a kid. It had some episodes that even genuinely creeped you out as a kid. I still watch it to this day. I haven't watched it in several months now, but, you know, we have the episodes and we'll watch them. The same with Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I want to go over Samurai Jack, because I always wanted to watch that show as a kid, but we didn't have the channel for it. So I want to watch that from beginning to end at some point. X-Men Evolution is another show I want to go through. I've watched on Disney Plus. It was on Disney Plus with a VPN that I used, and I was able to go through many of the episodes. I'm in the finale of season 2 right now. And then I've got the final season to watch. So yeah, I'm very much into all of these shows from my childhood. I've got the final 2 episodes of season 2 of X-Men Evolution to watch, and then I got season 3. Joshman says, Eric, I was asking you before, what Marvel project are they going to be introducing Mephisto in, and how did you know they're going to make him goofy? Because I heard about it. It was like rumors all over the place going on, but they were from inside info from sources. And they all started reporting this, and it seemed quite reliable. It was basically saying that in Ironheart is where they're going to be dealing with magic, and what they're also going to do is have Mephisto show up, and he's going to be very comedic. And apparently he was going to be played by Sacha Baron Cohen. There was also an idea of them shooting a special presentation, like they did with Werewolf by Night, or the Guardians Christmas special, where they were going to do a special presentation of Mephisto. And I don't know what happened to that, but ultimately Sacha Baron Cohen was playing him, like I said. And yeah, we're going to get Mephisto, and it does not seem good. Because they're going to make him stupid. Big Bash says, what is your favourite adult joke from Ed, Ed, and Eddie? The sextant joke in the movie. That actually was educational and funny, because when someone was actually trying to make one, in conversation it came up at a point. Someone says that they're trying to make, what is that thing called where you make, and he described what it was, and I said, a sextant, and he goes, yeah. And I was like, cool, that's fun. That was funny, because Ed and Eddie used it as an immature joke, but technically it's an immature joke on a real word. I don't know which joker decided to call it a sextant, but I'm surprised they actually put that joke in Ed and Eddie. That was a funny adult joke, that was. Merrymaking will cost us this sextant. And then when Ed and Eddie just started laughing at it. And Double D did not even get it why they were laughing until at the end when Ed was like, say it again, Double D. And then he's like, oh my. That was funny. That was... I remember showing that joke to my mum when I was a kid as well. Those were the days. Oh man, they don't make cartoons like they used to. Yeah, Josh, man, he was in Alice Through the Looking Glass, Sacha Baron Cohen. He was also in Borat, wasn't he? So yeah, he's yeah, he was in that, yeah. Goat says, dumb question, do you hate Marvel? No, but there's a lot of things that the MCU do that I hate, just in general in any movie. Like comedy that ruins a serious moment. I hate that in anything. James Gunn did it in Peacemaker, and I said I hated it there as well. So there's a lot of things that I hate, and Marvel, I think, have a lot of bad habits, and now other people are hating them too, not just me. People don't like how Marvel have become so comedy-centric now. But I never liked it before. Saeed says, hey Eric, fun fact, James Gunn did the live-action Scooby-Doo movie. I like James Gunn from the start. He wrote them. But it just, execution-wise, like what he did with Scrappy in the first movie was so bad. As a kid, I hated that. Eric, what is your favourite adult joke from Shrek? How about Law? There's too many adult jokes in there. The Robin Hood song that he sung, I never got it when I was a kid, why adults were laughing, but it's really funny. The Lord Farquaad, when he goes, do you think maybe he is compensating for something? That was another funny joke. A lot of funny jokes there are, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't get it as a kid, even though the adults in the cinema at the time, I remember, were laughing a lot. All of us kids weren't, but the adults were. They loved those jokes, especially when Donkey says it to Fiona, when he goes, there it is, princess, your castle awaits, or whatever he said. And then when Donkey says, Shrek says he thinks Lord Farquaad is compensating for something, which I think means he has a poo, when Shrek knocks him down. I remember the adults were laughing so hard, like their throats were hurting. I remember. Fireboy says, what actor that do I not like, but I enjoyed their performance? That's a good question. Let me think. What actor do I not like, but I enjoyed their performance? That means you gotta find someone in real life that you don't like, but you like their performance. Oh, Ryan Reynolds. If you look at what he's doing in real life, you know, the whole Justin Baldoni thing, it really makes him look pathetic. It does not make him look good. So I hate him. I don't like him, but I liked his acting in certain movies. Did you hear about Avatar Last Airbender movie coming out and it has a new title? I have heard about that. I didn't cover that in the story because there wasn't really anything to cover, really. It was just a poster. I needed more to actually cover it, but yes, I did hear about that, and I am looking forward to it. Joshman says, "Hey Eric, how long are you going to be on the stream?" Probably another 45 minutes, and then we'll cut the stream, so... Yeah, any questions that you want to get out, have them sent out now. What about the Ironheart trailer? Yeah, it wasn't a good trailer. It was pointless in every sense of the word. Really, just no reason for it. I didn't even bother reacting to it on my Patreon, because it's like, what else am I going to say about it? So I covered the Superman trailer. That is the one that we wanted to celebrate. And Marvel, how bad is it that they... Normally they try to compete with DC, but how bad is it that they try to compete with DC when DC put a Superman trailer out there and they put a freaking Ironheart trailer out there for Disney Plus? I think they, I don't know what went on there, but basically they've screwed up. They've screwed up to the point where it's like that's the best they can put out there. And yeah, it's a show that they know is going to get buried. That's why they're releasing it very quickly. They're not giving it a weekly schedule like they usually do. Neil, the main man, says, what versus videos am I making? Well, I'm doing Daredevil Born Again versus the original Netflix Daredevil. I'm doing Snow White versus the live-action remake. I'm doing Thunderbolts versus something which I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to wait for that to happen, for that to come out. I'm also going to be working on... What other one am I working on? I've got Sinners versus The Last of Us, which is already out, but it's got a copyright claim on my channel, so it's on my Patreon and my YouTube members if you want to see it right now as I battle the copyright claim. I just put out a versus video a couple days ago of Final Destination, Final Destination 1 versus Final Destination Bloodlines, which just came out recently. It's the 6th Final Destination movie, so there's a lot of versus videos. Rohan says, you mean Dusk Till Dawn? Did I not say Dusk Till Dawn? Yeah, my Sinners versus video with Dusk Till Dawn, yeah. Funny says, hey Eric, I want episode 14 in Avatar The Last Airbender and others. The point that I was thinking about, what shows or movie I plan to watch. I think you need to say that again because I don't quite get it. Hey Eric, was there an anime you absolutely hated? I don't know. I feel like if there's anything I didn't like, I just wouldn't keep watching it. So, oh yeah, there was a Wolverine anime that was on Netflix. It started out pretty cool. It was him in Japan, essentially. I think it was Moriko he was going after. She was trying to rescue her. It started out bloody and cool, but then it was just like padding, and it just went on, and it was such a... It went from being an R-rated show to such a PG show, and it was so annoying, and eventually I just stopped watching it, so yeah, I hated that. Saeed says, if Superman is serious, then it means James Gunn is being James Gunn at the right moments. In certain projects will show that he can make a serious movie instead of all these jokes. Well, let's see. This is his chance to show us. But I think that he can be tone deaf to his jokes, and he can think they're funny when they're not. So, yeah. No, Goat, I don't count Invincible as an anime. That's clearly American animation. I mean, Avatar The Last Airbender is more anime than that, and Avatar The Last Airbender is a mix of American and anime, kind of like animation styles. 10 Rex says, which is more dumb, gator wrestling or ball running? I don't know. Maybe gator wrestling? Joshman says, Eric, I was asking before, do you think Christopher Nolan will do well with an R rating than what he did with Oppenheimer? Plus, the R-rated R was incredibly wasted. In Oppenheimer, it was wasted. I don't think it was a very good use of the R rating. It could have easily been PG-13 and not changed anything. I think with Odyssey, I think there could be a potential where the R rating could actually have some useful functions. So I think it will function a lot better in Odyssey than it would in Oppenheimer. So yes, I think if he made the Odyssey rated R, he could do a lot more with the rating. Goat says, what movie do you like that people hate? Oh, take care, Fireboy. Thanks for joining the stream. What movie do I like that people hate? There's gotta be one. Maybe I'll say Spider-Man 3. I never hated that movie. So Spider-Man 3. Eric, what is a show that people like that you don't like? I'm trying to think of maybe an MCU show. Oh yeah, what was that reindeer, that baby reindeer? I wasn't a big fan of that show. I feel like it was trying to be profound in ways, but it wasn't very profound. If anything, I actually really... There were things that really bothered me in that show. So, yeah, I would say probably that. Sai, it's okay. Go ahead and answer questions. I don't see how you're having an unfair advantage. Deadwolf says, Marvel is forcing Miss Marvel even though a movie flopped. Yeah, exactly. Probably when they forced her into Daredevil, they thought her movie was going to do great, because I think they shot that episode before the Marvels came into the cinema. Once they saw it was terrible, I think then they tried to change and alter course. Because remember, they want him in Daredevil. That's why I think they put his music in the Daredevil show, a bit of the Spider-Man music, apparently. So clearly they want him in there now, so they're trying to alter course, but they got to alter it much quicker and do a much better job, because they're effing up as it is right now. And Thunderbolts just goes to show, even if the movie is good, people are not going to come see it, so that shows how much they are messing up. Joshman says, Eric, I'm still more excited for Mission Impossible than I am for Lilo and Stitch. Plus, it'll just be another crappy remake. Yes, it will. Also, I just heard recently, I was on Threads, if you want to follow me on Threads, and I think it was on Instagram too, and you can follow me on Instagram as well, I put it out there, I reposted it, where it ultimately said that Captain Guntu, I think his name was, or Guntuk, from Lilo and Stitch, he's not going to be in the remake. They've taken him out of it, that big tall alien that was pursuing Stitch. So yeah. Garrett says, would you be okay with Doctor Doom if they had him as the big bad of the multiverse saga from the beginning instead of Kang? It still doesn't just come down to if they had him at the beginning. That would have made more sense, yes. But they need the good writing to back it up. And if their movies were just going to be this messy slate that it is right now, putting Doctor Doom in there would not have made a single lick of difference. The G-Gamer says, what's the point? Guntu was the major driving force of the conflict. He was the one actively pursuing Stitch when it wasn't Jumba and... What was the other one's name? The one that liked to cross-dress? What was that name? Jumba and... Pleakley, that was it. Thank you, G-Gamer. Khan says, best we watch most of the Mission Impossible movies before I get to Reckoning. Well, if you haven't seen them, watch them. But I'm going to watch the Dead Reckoning Part 1. I'm going to watch that one more time leading up to the next film. Because I've only seen it once in the theater, but I need to see it again. Just watch the animated movies. Why do people feel the need to have an animated movie be in live action? I know, back in the time, the appeal for it was just to see what it would look like in live action. But now, when you get older, you realize that you don't need to see it in live action. When you're younger, you do. So when I was younger, I probably would have liked the idea of these, but at the same time, they don't give you the animated versions in live action form. Because what they do is, like, if you look at the Aladdin live action remake, and I mentioned this in my Versus video, they took out the big giant snake when Jafar turned into a snake, and instead made it a big CGI parrot that went after him. A snake would have been more fun to see in live action. That was the big set piece, but they took it out. The same with Mulan when she goes to save, when she does her transformation into looking like a man and goes to war and takes her father's place. That was the big set piece in the original, and they took that out in the remake as well. So yeah, it's like they just take out all the cool stuff that we want to see in live action and leave the other stuff, which is just kind of bad. And when it is done in live action, it just doesn't hit the same like it did in the animated versions. Big Bash's animation show is disrespected. It's annoying. Animation is so disrespected, it's annoying. Yeah, I agree. What's a movie you didn't like when you first watched it, but liked it over the years, or vice versa? I'm not going to answer the vice versa. I'm just going to answer the first one, because I know that first one's going to be a real thinker as it is. Movie I didn't like at first but liked over the years. I'm sure there's a couple, like, it has happened. This is not a proper answer, but it's one that comes to my head. Aquaman. The first time I saw it, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And then I actually wrote a Versus video. Cloverfield Con, that is one of them. Yes, how do you remember that and I didn't? Well, it is late. It's 12:40 a.m. right now, so maybe that's why. But yes, Cloverfield, that's one. But I'll also say Aquaman. I didn't hate the movie, but I liked it, but I didn't love it first time I saw it. I actually wrote a whole script for Black Panther versus Aquaman, and then I thought I need to watch Aquaman again in order to write the rest of my script, so I went to go see it again, and then my thoughts completely changed. Some of the bad aspects that I wrote in my script ended up not being bad anymore, so I had to go back and rewrite my script, and then I let Aquaman win over Black Panther, which originally didn't happen. Big Bash says, Eric, what was it like playing Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions for the first time? I haven't played it all the way through. I've only played the first couple of stages. One with Spider-Man 2099, one with Spider-Man Noir, and one with the regular Spider-Man. And I didn't play the stage after that. It was pretty cool. It was fun, but you could tell it's an older Spider-Man game. You can tell it's an older Spider-Man game, so that's the only, I think, issue I can think about. So yeah. Yeah. What rating would you give Witcher 3? I've never played Witcher 3. Side says, I loved Shattered Dimensions. I only had it on the DS when I was a kid, and I didn't like the DS version that much, but my brothers, they used to play it a lot. They did. They really enjoyed it. But for me, having points show up on the screen just was not cool to me. I thought that wasn't a very cool thing they did. What rating would I give... Oh, sorry, I've already read that. You know what, guys? I'm going to let this stream go on for 5 more minutes because I think I'm feeling a bit... not under the weather. I think I have hay fever. It's like this happened last night too, where my nose gets blocked up. As a result, when your nose gets more blocked up, it's not as easy to speak. So I'll do it for 5 more minutes, and then we'll end. So get all your questions sent to me right now, and I'll try to answer them as quick as I can. Supersonic, you showed up, bud. It's like I said, I'm going to be on for 5 more minutes. I'm so sorry to say. My nose is blocked up. I think it's hay fever or something. This happened to me yesterday too. It is quite hot in this attic, and I am sweating a bit as well because when you chat and you feel like a bit hot inside, it happens. 10 Rex says, have you played Red Dead Redemption 2? I have not, but I can play it on my Steam Deck, but I haven't got... I just didn't want to spend the money on it because they're still quite expensive on the Steam store. It's not quite lower price that I wish it was. So I didn't want to, for that. Plus I got other games I'm spending my time on right now, and it's hard enough to spend time playing those games as it is, so yeah. Movie King, I'm surprised you didn't talk about the Ironheart trailer. I did talk about it a bit on this stream. Gamer DZ Team, welcome to the live stream. I don't know if you're new to the stream, or I don't know if you've been to these streams before, but you changed your username and profile. But welcome. Yes, you can ask me what I thought of Andor. I saw the first episode, and I thought visually it was stunning. I thought the acting was really good, but the pacing was very slow, way too slow. And usually, I like politics being spoken in Star Wars. The Clone Wars is one of the reasons I love that show, is because of the political speak. But here, it was so boring the way it was done. I'm like, how do you make Star Wars political speak boring for someone like me who loves it? But they made it kind of boring. I thought pacing was not that great, and that's why I did not jump to episode 2 straight away, because I could have binge watched it there and then, but I didn't because of the pacing. So that was an issue for me. Garrett says, do you think Secret Invasion should have been an Avengers movie? Also, what do you think of Chinatown? Yes, I think it should have been an Avengers movie. It should have led up to an Avengers movie. I've not seen Chinatown, so I'm sorry about that. Do I own a pet, says Tenrex? No, I don't. Summer, winter, fall, or spring? Definitely not summer. I'd say spring is fine. Spring, fall, they're both nice. We're kind of in spring right now, so yeah. Big Bass says, do you think Hayden Christensen could have played a good Shadow in Sonic 3? He could have. But at the same time, I could see why they went for Keanu Reeves. Gamer DZ says, I agree. I actually almost gonna give up on it, but try to watch the 6th episode and you'll be rewarded. Take care, Saeed. I hope you're heading out. Oh, hope you enjoy your vacation then, Saeed. So take care. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Gamer DZ says, and yes, I've been following you for a long time. Oh, really? Oh, cool. Is this your first live stream, or have you never commented on a live stream? I'm curious. Have you seen people camp outside of stores overnight for consoles or any items? I think I did for Harry Potter books once. This is really going back in the day. And we were actually going to stay lined up waiting for the Harry Potter books too. But then we waited until early morning instead, and we went, and yeah, we all went to go pick up the latest Harry Potter book. It was so cool. Only £5 it was being done for as well, which was a steal. I still have that Harry Potter book with me. It's right under my feet right now. I've got this stool here, this, let me see. Oh, it looks like it's buried in here a bit, so... Yeah, I can't take it out right now. It's buried under all of these books. Okay. Favorite video game genre? Oh, action, adventure, free roam. Joshman says, Eric, do you think the live action remake of Lilo and Stitch is going to be as bad as Snow White? And do you think the reviews will be at least decent? I think the reviews will be good. I think they're gonna like how cute it is, even though it's not gonna have anything original in it. So I think they'll like that. Gamer DZ says, actually it's my first time, so I'm surprised you're responding. Oh, really? No, I try to respond to everyone. How long have you been subscribed to my channel, out of curiosity? And what was the first video of mine that you saw that made you subscribe? I'm curious about that too. This way I just like to know this is my way of getting to know my viewers. I know, like, how long everyone has been watching me for. Based on this, I try to remember. Well, look at that. Big Bash is welcoming DZ Team. Hey, everyone, give DZ Team a welcome. This is his or her first live stream. My favorite Harry Potter villain, said Deadwolf. Of course, it's Voldemort, isn't it? You guys are always so nice to new members. Do you think Ryan Coogler producing Ironheart gives it a chance as the movie king? It depends how involved he is. Producer is a very broad term. It can mean that they're very involved, or they just put their name on it and gave it a thumbs up, and then they went to go do their own thing, which is what I think Ryan Coogler did. Because if this show was any good, then Ironheart would have been released 2 or 3 years ago. Instead, Marvel have been sitting on it, and the show has been complete for 2 or 3 years, and they're only now releasing it. So, yeah. Also, given that Marvel's track record already seems to be damaging them when it comes to the Thunderbolts and all these other movies, I bet you this is going to be something else that damages them too. So it's not good that they're releasing this. Supersonic says, last question before I go. Have you seen Rio 2011? No, I haven't, but I've heard of it. but I've not seen it. I love the animation style of it though. It looks cool. Oh really? Gamer DZ says I followed you since the Force Awakens review. That's 10 years ago now. Whoa. So you've been watching for a very long time. Eric, is there a franchise you'd think would make an amazing video game? I'm sure there is. I know I've thought of it before. Maybe Lights Out. Or the Conjuring franchise maybe could have an interesting game. Or what if Final Destination had a game? Because there is a Saw game, but imagine if there's Final Destination where you could trigger a bunch of stuff to happen. And you could play Death. Or you could play the humans if you wanted to. But I'd love to play Death instead. Take care, Supersonic Adventure. Thank you for joining the stream. Ooh, Deadwolf says, I think the first video I watched of you is the Spider-Man Versus video. Nice. Which one? Spider-Man 1 Versus, or 2 Versus, or 3 Versus? Yeah, that's interesting, Movie King. When he says, I like the idea of MCU shows going back to being mostly disconnected like Marvel Netflix. Well, they already kind of have been in a way. They say they're connected, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of these characters again, like She-Hulk, for example. Oh, No Way Home vs. Spider-Man 3. Wow, yeah, I remember editing that one. That was hard to edit due to copyright claims. Also, I was watching the Johnny Depp trial as well at the time, which took up like most of my day, I remember. What's a summer movie you're looking forward to, says Tenrex. Superman, without a doubt. Gamer says, it's when you started making Versus videos when I became a fan of this channel. Ooh, really? So you've been watching me before I did Versus videos, and then when I did the Versus videos, you became a fan. Cool. Do you comment on my videos often? I'm just trying to know if you've commented. Maybe I've just not seen it, or you've changed your name. But, yeah, comment on more of my videos, and I'll see you. I'll respond to you as well. Goat, I've not really travelled to many countries. I've heard of it, Tenrex, but I've not seen it. So did you see... So Gamer DZ, did you watch my recent Final Destination Versus video that I did? Ah, the Henry Cavill getting fired video is when Big Bash came to my channel. Joey Nichols, great to see you here, bud. He goes, your Deadpool vs. Deadpool 2 video was how I discovered your channel. Oh, nice. Gamers DZ says, I think I commented asking about your opinion on Loki in the Moon Knight review. Ah, and I said, I think I've said to everyone, I've not seen Loki yet. Oh, and Gamer DZ did watch my Final Destination Versus video. Cool, I'm glad you saw it. I've got my Sinners Versus video as well, but it's got copyright claims on it, so that video was already done, like, about 5 days before the Final Destination Versus video, but sadly it got copyright claimed. 5 days to a week and a half before the Final Destination Versus video. So, as I'm trying to get rid of the copyright claims, the only way you can view that Versus video, Sinners Versus From Dusk Till Dawn, is through my Patreon or YouTube memberships, whilst I get the copyright claims removed on my channel. Movie King 3000 says, your Justice League versus the Snyder Cut video was my first exposure to you. Ah, nice. That was one of my best performing videos too, so my second best, I think. Big Bash says, Eric, what is your favourite character Tara Strong has voiced? Ben Tennyson. Ben Tennyson. Ah, Khan has been on the channel since the It Versus video. Nice, thanks, bud. I'm glad. That was also one of my most viewed videos. I think it's my first most viewed video. It's got 1.6 million views now. Does your Final Destination Versus video have spoilers for Bloodlines? No, but it does have spoilers for the first movie. The only thing I talk about in Final Destination 6 is stuff that has been discussed in the trailers, and some logical stuff with regards to the story, but there's no spoilers in there. I don't tell you who dies or what or anything, but I do have some spoilers for the first movie. Because it's a 25-year-old movie, so I figured I could, mention some spoilers of the first film. Joey says, is Thunderbolts doing well at the box office? No, it's not. If anything, it's going to do worse than Captain America Brave New World. Yeah, Movie King, those are some good choices. I'm always aware she's done Raven, but to me, Ben Tennyson is like the one. I also really liked Omi from Shaolin Showdown. Yeah, she's voiced a lot of characters I was surprised to find out. Dead Wolf says, I'm David Zaslav. I'm going to cancel Superman like I did with Coyote vs. Acme. He's not going to want to cancel Superman. That's supposed to be the whole thing, like, of Warner Brothers that he's been trying to get off the ground, is a Superman movie. So, yeah. Gamer DZ says, because of the superhero fatigue, and I hope Superman doesn't get affected by it. Here's the thing, Gamer. I don't know if you saw this part of the stream earlier. I don't think it's to do with superhero fatigue. It's to do with the fact that they're just releasing too much superhero stuff, and it's not good. Also, they're releasing superhero content and releasing superhero stories of superhero characters that we just don't care about. I mean, who cares about the Thunderbolts? There was a time where Marvel could put out these team of misfits, and people were willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, but that's back when Marvel had a lot of goodwill from people. But they don't have goodwill now. They've been making so many crappy movies and shows of characters that people don't care about. They've even failed the characters that people do care about, like Thor, Wanda, Doctor Strange, and many more. And now, when they're trying to release a movie about misfits, even when it's a good movie that a lot of people like, most people are like, yeah, I'm still not going to bother watching it. Marvel have just lost their trust with people, which makes even the Fantastic Four movie puts even that into question now. And not only that, but with Ironheart releasing next month, when Marvel are having like a string of crappy movies or movies that just don't impress or just don't make people want to see them, it's going to put them even deeper into that pit of that they're already in. They're hardly digging themselves out, they're just digging themselves deeper. And I think that will also have a continuous negative effect leading into the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. I thought Beast Boy, Big Bash, I thought the Beast Boy actor voicing Kevin was good. I didn't know it until quite a bit later, and I thought, wow, that was actually smart. Because also, the woman who voices Gwen in Alien Force is Tara, and Tara from Teen Titans, and Beast Boy and Tara were like a romantic couple in there, and now they're both a romantic couple in this show, so that was kind of fun and interesting. Gamer DZ says, I'm a superhero fan and used to watch the movie day one. Never thought there'll be a day where I say, I didn't watch the Marvels or Brave New World or Agatha all along, even Thunderbolts. And I'm not excited for Fantastic Four. Well, there you go. That's a big thing. The fact that you're not excited for it. When usually you would never think you would say such a thing. It says everything you need to know about where Marvel are and how they've just lost audiences like yourself, who were usually very loyal to them. Ooh, Hui Toonmore says, if I'm to be honest, I hated Alien Force and Ultimate Alien. I only hated Alien Force Season 3 and Ultimate Alien. And there was some good stuff in there, but as soon as Ben got immature again, when he was 15, I did not like that. That was very bad. Apparently it's because Warner Brothers thought that the viewership for Ben 10 Alien Force was not as big as the viewership for the original Ben 10. So they wanted Ben to be immature again because they thought that was the thing, so that's why they made him immature, and I did not like that. I liked that he was mature, and they just did it bad, I thought. 10 Rex says, where does your love for movies come from? Just the fact that it's entertainment, and I really enjoy the entertainment. The first movie I saw that really blew me away and was like, wow, this is the power of movies, was watching the first Batman film from Tim Burton when I was a kid. Oh. Take care, Dead Wolf. Thank you for joining the stream. We'll see you next week too, bud. Yeah, so that's what happened. What made me really enjoy it, I think. Yeah. Because it showed me, I was like, wow, so you telling me that Batman and Joker, two characters and a genre that would normally be something that kids can watch, I can't watch it anytime I want to. I gotta be accompanied with my parents, and it was also given a 15 at the time in the UK. I was like, wow, that must mean that... I was like, the fact that a movie can do that, make something so silly seem adult, where a kid cannot watch it on his own, that blew me away, just the thought that movies could do that. And you took it seriously, too. I thought that was so great. Hui says about Ben 10, my problem was that both series had too many retcons, and I didn't like any of them. For instance, Gwen being half alien, and that there was no such thing as magic. Yeah, that was weird, because clearly there was magic. That was so bizarre. Did you know that Ben 10 franchise... Did you know the Ben 10 franchise had made $7.85 billion from toy sales? Wow. That's amazing. Shows what a juggernaut Ben 10 was back in the day. I'm surprised it kind of just fizzled out eventually, due to bad quality, I think. Because yeah, Ben 10 was a huge deal. I remember my brothers, they wanted like Ben 10 merchandise, and we had some Ben 10 lunchboxes and Ben 10 like the Omnitrix watch and stuff. So yeah, that was like a big juggernaut, that was. Joey says, what would your scores be for all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies? I've got versus videos for all the Guardians movies, except for the third one. I reviewed that one. But Guardians 1 and 2, I remember I liked 2 better than 1, and my thoughts on the first 2 Guardians movies has gone down over the course of the years. But I like Guardians 3 the most. But I can't remember the scores, though. You might want to check out my versus videos and add an extra point to the versus videos. Because I think I was probably a bit harsh on them in those versus videos. Take care, Goat. I think I was a bit too harsh on them, I think, for versus videos. Creative Crocodile says, do you work a job alongside YouTube? Editing videos must take a lot of time. I used to a while ago, but now this is the thing I'm trying to make my full-time thing. And I'm talking to sponsors right now and things. So yeah, things seem to be looking up. Seems like there's a positive uptick of a direction going on. So we'll see what happens. Movie King 3000 says, Marvel's bread and butter is turning C-list characters to A-listers like Iron Man, so it's kind of hard to say they shouldn't be doing it. Yes, but the thing is, when they did it at the time, they gave a shit. You could clearly tell with these newer characters they didn't give a shit. All they cared about was getting those pats on the back for saying, look at how diverse we're being. That's all they cared about. The same with this Riri Williams show. Because you could tell when you watch these shows that they never had a story they wanted to tell in the first place. They were only doing it because they thought it would make them look good and progressive. And then when you watch the shows, you find out, oh, so you guys never had a story to begin with. This was all bullshit. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with them doing that, but the thing is, do it in earnestness. Like, make sure it's honest when you're doing it. It was at the beginning when they were doing it, but now it's not honest. It's just them trying to say, look how good we're being, and that will get us views. Turns out it doesn't. Jason King says, hi Eric, long time no see. Yeah, it has been a while, buddy. Where have you been? It's great to see you again. Joey Check says, you gave Guardians 1 a 6, Guardians 2 a 4, and Guardians 3 an 8. Wow, I gave Guardians 2 a 4. I thought it was the other way around. I thought I liked Guardians 2 better. There were too many jokes in Guardians 2. I do remember that. Yeah, Josh, man, I'll end it in a bit. Big Bash says, I love the original series, Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse. I love all 4 shows. Omniverse, to me, was where it just died completely, and I didn't bother watching. My brothers, they watched some, but yeah, they stopped too. They told me at the beginning how Ben, Kevin, and Gwen, like, split, and I was like, oh, forget about that. Plus, the new animation style I thought was just so ugly looking. The creator of Ben 10 did say that he wanted to make an R-rated Ben 10 show, more like an adult version, I think he said, that he could see himself doing. And that sounds cool, but I don't know. I wish it was animated. That I would like to see. Been a while. Been wanting to ask for a while. What are your thoughts on Arcane Season 2? I've still not seen Arcane Season 2. I want to, but I'm just so swamped and so busy. So I'm sorry to say I can't give you my thoughts on it, but I have heard a lot of people saying it felt rushed. As particularly towards the end, I've heard. But I've not seen it yet. I've still not seen Invincible Season 3 either. That's also something I have to see. Big Bash says, if you had to make a Ben 10,000 series, what would you do, Eric? Well, remember that episode where he has Kenny as a son? That was great. I would delve more into that. I would also delve into how Ben got a bit depressed. Not depressed, but he lost that fun side to him in Ben 10,000. I would like to see how that materializes. I'd love to see the relationship between him and Gwen. Like, I like how it matured in Alien Force before it regressed. So, yeah, I hope it continues. I really do. Khan, I do agree. I'll tell you what, hopefully... No, Jason, I've not seen Invincible Season 3 either, but when I do plan to, and when I do, I'm going to record my reaction and put it on my Patreon for you guys to see, so you can see my reaction to the entire show. I did that with Season 2, and now I'm going to plan to do it with Season 3, as soon as I'm finished with Daredevil Born Again, uploading my reactions to that. So yeah, stay tuned. I've got plenty of you'll get tons of content with regards to that, and like proper reviews of each episode and my reactions to each episode. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. But yeah, Khan, I do need a break. When I get some, hopefully when I get some sponsors, and let's say if I can do a long-term relationship with these sponsors and once a month do an advertisement for them or something, then I will be able to lay back a bit and, take some time. Even though when I take some time, I'll be streaming myself or recording myself, so I'm technically still sharing that time with you guys. Eric, would you watch a Grandpa Max prequel series? Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, it could kind of be, but if they do it well, then yes, I would. Especially in Alien Force when he was Grandpa Max was trying to investigate the hybrid before Ben even got involved. That would be curious to see. Have I seen Watership Down? No. Jason King says your Patreon is $1, right? I don't know how much it is that in pounds. In pounds, that's about 60 pence, like 60 cents for you, something like that. But it starts at $1. It goes higher, and the more people I get on Patreon that support me, it allows me to do this full time. But yeah, $1 is for trailer reactions, and if you want to get actually, I'll show you here. Hold on. Here it is. Here's my Patreon perks right here, which you can see. There you go. So my Let's Watch shows, that's where you see my reactions to these episodes. Oh, wow. Jason King says, I'll subscribe today then. Well, thank you very much, Jason. And Jason, you know what? If you do it right now, I'll actually put your name up here, and it will stay here forever in this video. Stefan just became a Patreon member, and Big Bash became a YouTube member. So if you do it now, I'll actually put your name down there as well. Creative Crocodile says, any tips for someone looking to start YouTube? Yes, find a subject that you're genuinely passionate about and then try to talk about that. Try to plan in your head, what's the presentation style going to look like? And then what's the thumbnail going to look like? And try to make videos in that way. That's what I do with my Versus videos. And those are the videos that I think that did the best for me, in terms of performing. Yeah, Creative Crocodile, I am on TikTok. It's, I don't have it here, but if you go to any one of my videos, it'll be in the description. Okay, Jason, no problem. I just thought I'd let you know. It's fair to let you know, because a lot of people clearly, they always try to go for this, so I thought I'd let you know ahead of time. But whatever you do, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Big Bash says, Eric, if you had the Omnitrix, what alien would you turn into to help you with your daily life? That is a very good question. I used to think of that all the time when I was a kid. I always thought being a techie, someone who's really into tech, I always wanted to be Upgrade and then go into my computer and really overpower it and everything. That could be really cool. That's a good question, Jason. Is it? It should be on HBO Max. I don't know if they pulled it. It used to be on HBO Max, but then they pulled a bunch of those shows, those classic Cartoon Network shows. So I don't know if it's on there or not. Connor, it's great to see you, bud. He goes, hey, Eric, been a week already. Yeah, it is. Oh, Jason, you're in the UK. Oh, wow. I'm in the UK too, Jason. So when you said how much is that in dollars, $1, how much? You don't know how much that is in pounds, right? Yeah, I'm in the UK too, just like yourself, so... Oh, Ben 10 got pulled. That's bad. Big Bash says, Eric, who's your favourite character from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? Hostel Dado. He's the hilarious character. I love all the characters in Billy and Mandy. I mean, Nurgle is hilarious as well. Just laughing at one of his pathetic moments. But yeah, Nurgle's a great character too. You do know that on HBO, when it came on there, I think they released it in HD or something. So I don't know if you can get it on HD Blu-ray or something, but man, the fact that it was on streaming in HD, then they pulled it. Creative Crocodile, I'm in the UK, so I can't tell you what time it is in America, unless I ask Alexa over there. Big Bash says Ben 10 is leaving Netflix on June the 4th. Big Bash, are you in the UK as well, or are you in America? Because I don't think I've had a look if Ben 10 is on our Netflix. Let me see. Oh, you are in America, Big Bash. Okay, then maybe that's just for you. Yeah, we haven't got Ben 10 in our Netflix in the UK. We got Justice League here. Lego Ninja Go. Is this a movie or 7 seasons of a show? We got Young Justice here as well, but I think it's only the first 2 seasons. Oh, we got season 3 here as well. I heard this show was just not good. Season 3 of Young Justice, even though I loved the first 2 seasons, especially season 2. And that's another thing. How is that season 1 and 2 of Young Justice have like 20 episodes? Season 2 has 20, season 1 has 26. But then season 3 only has... Well, actually, it also has 26. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. I thought I had more for a second. What are your thoughts on Whiplash? Really good movie. I didn't like the way it ended, but really good movie. Jason, I have. There's 2 Arkham games I've heard in development. I've heard there's one that is in development, which apparently Sony have grabbed as a PlayStation exclusive, which sucks. Because I'd love to play that on my Steam Deck or something, but if it's a PlayStation exclusive, that is so stupid. But the other one is going to be apparently a Batman Arkham Asylum remake. Kind of like how they have like remakes of Dead Space and stuff, or Resident Evil. And that one I think is going to be multi-platform, and it will be cool to play that, but at the same time, I very much am a purist. I love the nostalgic elements of Batman Arkham Asylum. So I wonder how much are they going to remake it, and will they remake it for the better or the worse? How am I feeling today, says Tenrex. I'm as good today, but I'm feeling a little bit... At night, I have some hay fever. I don't know why. My nose gets a bit heavy. Probably because of the current weather. We're transitioning to summer. Oh, you're from Algeria, Gamer DZ. Khan says, so how long until the stream ends? Oh, wow. 3 minutes. Because I always usually do 2-hour streams. I thought I was going to end it earlier, but then I ended up just chatting to you guys more, because like I said, I have so much fun chatting to you guys. But yeah, 3 minutes. Once it's 2 hours, I'll cut it off. So any questions you want to get, now's the time to get them. Any super chats or Streamlabs chats you want to do and get your question pop up on the screen, now's the time to do it as well. It's 8:08 where I'm at, says Joshman. Is that PM or AM? Movie King, if you can't buy a Ultimate Alien and it's just nowhere for you to find it, then sailing the high seas is not really pirating anymore. It's only like that if you try to go behind the person's back when you can buy it, but you don't. You go behind their... Pirating is when it's available for you to buy, but you decide to go behind their back and get it for free. But if they're not selling it, they have no intentions of selling it, they're not going to give you a release date as to when they're going to sell it, and there is no other way for you to buy it, like legally, even when you're looking for it, and they say, okay, there's it's just not available, you can't get it. At that point, I think it's different. You're going to have to take that with a grain of salt, but I think at that point the logic is different. I think that doesn't count as piracy then, if it's just not available for you to purchase anywhere, even when you're trying. So, maybe that's just logic, maybe that's law. I don't know, I'm not telling you it's law, I'm just saying, to my understanding of piracy, I don't think it applies when it's just not available to even purchase. Does Rocksteady have a lot of unused Kevin Conroy lines? I doubt it. They probably have other takes, but I think it's ultimately the same dialogue that he's read. Eric, I think next weekend's story should be the box office on both the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch and versus Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Not a bad idea. Gamer DZ, that is sadly true. It's almost like when they say you don't own the game that you've paid full price for. It feels like that's its own version of piracy that they're doing, and yet they say that we can't do it, but they can. Do you see how messed up that is? How they can just pull the... If you own a game digitally, they can just pull it from you, and that's it. It's like that's a version of piracy in of itself, but they say, no, it isn't. But if you try to get it for free, it is. We can steal it from you, but you can't steal it from us. Do you see how ridiculous it is? Lilo, the final stitchening, anyone, says Connor. Gamer DZ says, a Nintendo now say that we don't own the console we paid for. Yeah, I know, exactly. Screw them. No, Big Bash, I didn't. But I've heard him talk about his life story on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. It's quite... I never knew his backstory, his own backstory was quite sad. Stuff with his father, with his brothers, I think he talked about. He also told stories about his roommate, Robin Williams, and what Robin Williams was like as a person. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. We've gone about 30 seconds over, so as always, I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for your continued support. Here, I'll say it again. We got merchandise available now. These are just 3 examples, but I've got plenty of other examples available. So just all you gotta do is click the link in the description, and it will take you to the website where you can take a look at the merchandise. And any merchandise you buy, it will basically all support me on my channel. So yeah, if you take a look down here, I put the link in the chat. It's also in the description, and doing that will help support the channel, and that's entirely your choice. But thank you very much for your support, and thank you to Goat, who's done the first to purchase one of these shirts. And Charleston, great to see you. Great to see you, Movie King 3000. Gamer DZ, thank you very much for joining the stream. It was a great fun chatting with you. I hope you can join our weekly streams and spend time with us every single week. That would be nice. Or yeah, feel free to drop down. We do live streams every Sunday, so feel free to drop down and say hi. And yeah, you are an absolutely wonderful addition to the live streaming family. So thank you all of you for watching as always. And yes, Create a Crocodile. Eventually, I will be releasing new merch designs as well. So thank you very much, all of you. Khans, as always, will be part of the live streams as always. Or we all like to say it, part of the ship and cruise with our captain. Until then, we'll see you next time, Captain. See you till next Sunday. The captain loves to hear it. Thank you very much, all of you. Take care, all of you. Big Bash, all of you. And I'll catch every single one of you next week. Take care.